AM 1170. The Answer.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You are listening to Whissel Wednesdays here on AM 1170, The Answer. My name is Kyle Whissel, your host with Whissel Realty, joined as always by Mr. Jason Hall, Team Home Loans. We've also got Kristen Dare, Event Director with the Santee Chamber of Commerce. And before the break, we were talking with Kristina Hess, Hess Law, estate planning guru. If you want to get connected with Kristina, you don't have any kind of estate plan in place, 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. You can call or text us on that number. We'll get you connected with Kristina. So before the break, we teased a little bit about the difference between a will and a trust. And I would say if 70% of people have no plan, probably all of them have no idea what the difference is between a will and a trust. And probably some of that 30% don't have a will or trust and don't even know what the difference is.
Yeah.
So explain what is a will versus what is a trust.
Yeah. Well, so most people think of planning for death and they think, oh my gosh, I need a will. But in California, if you have real estate, so if you own your home, an investment property, a business, or if you have assets over $150,000, if all you have is a will that says when I die, I want my husband or my wife to get everything and then the kids, then that guarantees you go through probate. So that whole 70% of people that if they died, their loved ones would have to go through probate because they have no plan. Well, people with assets with just a simple will also have to go through probate because the court has to prove the will. Okay. Probate means to prove the will. That's the Latin derivative.
Okay.
So that's what just a will does. A trust, on the other hand, and there's a lot of names for it, a living trust, a revocable living trust, an inter vivos trust, those all mean the same thing. And basically, it's a document that you put your assets into, so you title your real estate to your trust. So you can't just have a trust and say, when I die, this is what I want to happen. But a trust, if it's funded with your house, your stock, your bonds, your non-retirement accounts, it will avoid probate. So that's the big difference between a will and a trust. A trust avoids probate. A will guarantees probate.
Got it. Are you all dialed in, Jason?
I'm more dialed in now. That was great information. It was real basic, very, very well put.
But then the next step is if you have an estate plan, you actually need both a will and a trust.
So explain that.
But it's not a traditional will that says who gets what when. Your trust is going to do that. So I have a trust and it says, my business, my life insurance, my assets, they would go in the asset protection trust to my boys and I have it all set up, but I still have a pour over will.
Okay.
You have a pour over will. Right. So let's say you go buy a new property. And the lender makes you close in your individual name.
Right.
You don't get it into the trust, and then the next day you're hit by a bus.
Right.
But you have a pour-over will that says anything that would be part of probate, pour into my trust.
Okay.
So pour it over. So it's really just a safety net.
Right.
Wow. It doesn't say who gets what, when, or how. If it's a real estate or an asset over $150,000, we still have to petition the court. But it's much less expensive than the full-blown process.
So it's there in case you make a financial move but don't have an opportunity to amend your trust.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had a client. She was in her 80s. She set up a plan. Her financial advisor set up an appointment to put her. She had a very large brokerage account. He set up an appointment to put the brokerage account into the name of the trust. And then she called him and says, oh, I'm just not feeling well. Can we reschedule the meeting? She died that weekend. But luckily, she had the pour-over will, she had the trust, so we were able to file a petition, and the judge made the brokerage account, which was like almost $1 million, at part of her trust.
Okay, got it. Again, you're listening to Kristina Hess here on Whissel Wednesdays. If you want to get connected, you got more questions, 619-663-7355, 619-663-SELL. So Kristen, I know you're very curious about this. What other questions do you have while you've got her here?
Yeah, I had one on deck. I was thinking, is there any maintenance that comes along with having a trust, or is it one and done? Or
That's a great question. So good. Well, I recommend that you review your trust every 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
We give all our clients free reviews every 2 to 3 years or whenever they need it. Because what happens if something in your plan changes? The laws change.
Your kids change.
Yeah.
I mean, as our kids age up, maybe our needs and wants for them will kind of change.
It's going to evolve. Your assets are going to evolve. Someone could pass away. You could have a friend as a trustee or executor, and then you don't want that person anymore. Or once your kids grow, things might change. I've told my 13-year-old, Christian, you're going to be the trustee someday. He's 13. He's like, what does that mean, Mom? I'm like, you're responsible. You're frugal. He's got what it takes to be a good trustee. But I can't put him now. He's 13.
Right.
So I have to wait. So life will evolve. Your assets will evolve. The law will evolve. So it's good to just have a checkup. If your assets change, you want to update your asset schedule to your trust. You want to make sure if you refinance your house that you put the house back into the trust after the refi.
Oh, that takes it out?
Well, sometimes lenders will want you to take it out of trust for the refinance. Yeah.
Gotcha. See, all the things you just don't know until you know.
Right?
Until you come on the radio.
I know.
All of life's problems are solved.
I am exhaling, actually, learning more and more. I feel better.
And you thought you were just going to come on here and talk about cool things,
I know.
events.
This is cool. This is cool. As a wife and a mother, this is absolutely cool stuff. To get more educated and protect your family in a new and positive way is just smart. So it's definitely cool stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, it's honestly, it's scary. I think to me, it's more scary now that I have a child to think about what happens with my child more so than my money. Like,
totally.
Screw money, whatever. Money is replaceable. But like the fact that if you don't have something in place, that your child could go to the care of somebody that you have zero trust, faith, or confidence in, and it's up to a judge to make that decision.
Well, we used to want our children to go potentially to one of our sisters, either my sister or my husband's sister. And at the time when we were really talking about it, both of our sisters moved out of state. And the reality is, I don't want our kids to not live here where all their grandparents are and they have a bigger family base. And so that other people's life choices could in return change what I would have set up in our own will and trust or what have you. So it's interesting to see all the ripple effects of these things.
Yeah, things change. So get something in place and then just review it every 2 to 3 years and make sure it's still going to work. Because some people try to think out, 30 years. Well, what's going to happen? It's like, just think in the next 3 years. If something happened to you in the next 3 years, will your plan work? Because otherwise it can get a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
So just small chunks of time.
I love it. Again, you're listening to Whissel Wednesdays here on AM 1170, The Answer. Talking with Kristina Hess, Hess Law. If you want to get connected, 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. So, Kristina, if somebody like Kristen wants to get a trust started, what does she need to kind of put together before meeting with you?
Well, we send out a worksheet, and so we ask for basic information. If you and your husband have thought about guardians, if you've thought about financial decision makers, and then we get a basic asset inventory, and then we'll sit down and strategize. What are your goals and objectives? What do you want? What would happen right now with no planning? Is that okay with you? Mm-hmm. And most people are like, oh, hell no.
Oh, there it is.
Save it.
Was that the button or was that live? I don't know.
We all have people in our lives that, like I said before, we don't want our kids to go to. So, and a lot of couples don't agree. And so what I tell people is...
Wait. Couples don't agree?
On guardianship especially.
Newsflash.
No, I know, right? But on guardianship
My parents,
especially,
your parents, yes, we all know how that goes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right? But on guardianship especially, people don't agree about where they want the kids to go. So they do nothing. And so what I tell them is, look, I'll mediate. We've got a 3-step process. We'll figure this out. Any decision you come to as a couple is better than a judge deciding if the unthinkable happens. So
that's awesome that you'll hold people's hands through that process where you think you have to have all those answers coming in, and you'll actually guide people towards finding those answers maybe if they need the assistance. So I think that's incredible.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did we just become best friends?
Are we best friends?
BFF.
I love it. That's good stuff. And then one last thing, because we're going to head to a break in a couple minutes here, but what separates, just your average trust attorney from somebody who's truly an expert in estate planning? And what are the differences?
Well, I think there's huge differences. I mean, this is all that I do. This and, people who have businesses and need LLCs to go with their estate planning, but this is what I do. I mean, this is all that I do. So I focus exclusively on this area of law. And I found, because I review a lot of other attorneys' trusts, and I talk to other financial advisors or people, and you'd be surprised, like the asset protection trust that I talked about. You know, some attorneys don't even know about that, or they don't advise their clients about that. So if you need a plan, I really recommend that you go to someone that this is what they do, that they, you know, they're not like a ambulance chaser and
so you wouldn't Google it and do it online?
Well, you know, it depends. I mean, for some people, if you didn't have $150,000 in assets, or you didn't, you know, want asset protection, or you didn't want remarriage protection, or you didn't want any of the things that an attorney can provide, then, you know, something basic online might work. But, you know, I did my first trust out of law school before I was an estate attorney, and we did something online. We were going to New York City after 9/11, had one child, never got it notarized, never got our house into the trust, so it was basically worthless. So, I mean, I think it's money well spent. It's a good investment because the cost of not doing it, of the probate court and not knowing what would happen to your children, is just a price I think most people wouldn't want to pay.
Yeah, I mean, even the hard cost, let's say it was a $500,000 house,
yeah,
owned free and clear, 5% of that, you're talking $25,000.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the starting cost to do a basic trust?
A basic starter trust is about 20, with everything, the will, the pour over will, the power of attorney, the health care, the real estate transfer deed. I mean, we have a comprehensive process. It's about $2,600 for a married couple. That's the starter package.
Okay. So about a tenth of what it would actually cost that person if it went through probate, and they can spell out exactly what they want to happen with every asset, with the care of their children. I mean, I don't know if you can put a price on that, you know, what you want
Truly
to happen
priceless,
with your children.
right?
I love it. So again, if you want to get connected, Kristina Hess, Hess Law, estate planning lawyer, give us a call, shoot us a text, 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. When we get back, we're going to talk with Miss Kristen Dare and talk about some fun things happening in the city of Santee. You are listening to Whissel Wednesdays on AM 1170, The Answer.